Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope y'all are having a wonderful day today. So we are going to be doing a get ready with me. I don't remember the last time I did a get ready with me on my channel, but we're doing one today because WinkyLux sent me a bunch of makeup to try out for y'all. So I think everything except for my foundation, I think my foundation and my setting powder, those are not from WinkyLux, and everything else, my eyeliner, that's not WinkyLux either, but everything else that I'm wearing today is from WinkyLux. So I usually don't do my eye makeup on camera. That's not my forte, not my ministry, but I will be showing y'all even the eye look for today, and I'm just going to take y'all back and show y'all like what products I liked, which ones I didn't really care for, and if you're interested in any of the products that I'm going to go over today, I will have a link in my description box. It's not an affiliate link, but it will take you to their website if you want to check out anything that we're going to go over for today. So I'm really excited, so let's jump right into it. Okay, I usually don't do my eye makeup on camera, but I will today because WinkyLux did send me some eye makeup to play around with. So we're going to start with their Uni-Brow Universal Brow Pencil. So this is supposed to be multi-toned so that it can work with any brow color. So it has the spoolie on one side and the brow pencil on the other, which I really like because I like that you can just use one pencil for both. So I'm going to start with just brushing through my brows. I like this brush, it's soft. Some of these brushes are like really hard and they're kind of like uncomfortable in my opinion, but this one is nice and soft. So this one is what the brow, what the color of the brow pencil looks like. So like I said, it's supposed to be universal. It has like that teardrop tip. I'm hoping that y'all can make that out. Now I prefer brow powders, so I kind of already know that this probably wouldn't be something that I would use on a regular basis. I think I'm one of the few people that prefers a powder over a brow pencil, and if I'm using a pencil, I prefer like those really fine tip ones. I just think that powders are just easier for me to work with. So, but in terms of how this one is applying, so far so good. You guys can see like what my natural brow color is, and this shade does seem to be working, and I think it's performing okay, like, you know, a typical brow pencil would. I'll have the prices of all of these products listed down below. Okay, so this is what my brows look like all filled in with their universal brow pencil. So I do like the color of it. It's like spot on for my brow shade. So I love the shade of it. My brows, to me, they don't look super neat. Number one, I don't like for my brows to look super precise because I think they just look more natural when they're not very neat. But also I am just a little out of my element using a pencil just because I'm so used to using a brush. But for those of you who are into brow pencils, this one is really nice. This brush, the spoolie on the bottom, if this was like standalone without the pencil on the other side, I would actually use this. This brush is really nice. It's like really cushiony, so it just feels very soft when you're using it to rub through your brows or to like clean up if you put on like too much product somewhere. This is really nice. So overall, I do like this, but just not something that I would use on a regular basis. And before we move on to the next product, I'm just going to take some brow gel just to keep my brows in place. So I also went ahead and put on some eyeshadow primer because we're getting into a palette next. So y'all know that eyeshadow is not my forte. That's why I never do eyeshadow on my videos. But this is their Latte Kitten palette, and that's what it looks like. I really like this. This is really pretty. I usually do cool tones, which you all know, but I like pretty much all of these shades in here. Like even this one, I would use it if I want to just do like a warmer tone look. But overall, I like this color scheme. So I think that I will be putting a shimmer on the lids for today. Lately I've been doing all matte looks, but most of the colors in here are shimmers. So I do still want to do something kind of subtle. So I think I'm just going to go in with this shade right in the middle. This one is called Honey Lavender, and we'll make that like the main color on my eyes for today. So I feel like I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to applying eyeshadow. So I know that I don't do it like, I guess like the typical way that most YouTubers would do it, but I like to put my main lid color on first and then kind of like work around that. Yeah, this is a very subtle color. I was expecting it to be just a little bit more of like a purple tint to it, but it is really nice because it's subtle. I'm also going to take some of that same shade on my finger. I just want to see if it gets any more pigmented, which it should. when I use my finger. So it is slightly more pigmented. So this one over here I applied with the finger versus over here just with the brush. So this is a nice everyday shade for me. All right, so there are 3 mattes in here. I'm gonna take this brown shade over here and I'm gonna put that on the outer part of the lid. So whatever shade I put on the outer part of the lid, I also let that shade be kind of like on the bottom part of my lash line as well. I just don't drag it all the way over. I like to keep it concentrated on the outer part of the lower lash line. And then I'm also going to pat this on the outer part of the upper lash. This is a really pretty brown shade. I like this. Another like everyday shade. So really pretty. I'm gonna build it up just a little bit. Like this particular shade, you can't really build it up. I don't think it's meant to be like very potent, but I just want y'all to be able to see like the true color of it. And then I'm going in with this pink shade down here, and I'm gonna use that to kind of like buff everything out like around that brown shade. So I'm using like a detailed, this is my favorite eyeshadow brush. This is the Morphe 506 brush. It's a really small, like precise blending brush. And I need something small because I really don't have a lot of lid space to work with. So I need something that will really fit in this space. So I'm just taking that pinky shade and I'm just literally blending it right around that brown shade. So from what I see, from what other people do on YouTube, I think I'm kind of doing the opposite. Like I feel like a lot of people start here and then work their way in. For whatever reason, I just feel more comfortable doing it this way. And then I also drag it down on the lower lash a little bit. And then I'm just gonna keep blending it until I feel like it looks nice and blended. And then I do tend to go kind of back and forth, so I am gonna pick up a larger fluffy brush and then I'm gonna tap into that brown shade a little bit. And then I'm gonna use that to kind of like sweep that brown shade into like my little fake crease area. I don't really have like a crease because I have such hooded lids, but I'm using this brush to kind of like blend the brown into the other 2 shades. I feel like I'm gonna tap back into that like pinky shade one more time just so that it's not completely lost from mixing in some of that brown shade. I like to drag whatever color I'm using here, I like to drag it all the way up to the brow. I don't really do like the highlighter on the arch of my brow. I used to, but I just kind of stopped doing that. I like to just drag this matte color all the way up. Okay, so I actually like this palette. I feel like I would use this. I think the next few times I do my makeup, I'm gonna pick this up again. This was really nice. It's a nice subtle shade. Let me just do a swatch of this like deeper purple shade. I just wanna see. So that's the purple shade there. That's a really pretty shade too. Like I said, I've been doing matte looks on my eyes lately, but I do really like that. And that's that rust orange shade. I like this. This is a nice palette. All right, I just put on a little bit of eyeliner. You might not be able to make it out, but it's not a WinkyLux product. So we're moving on to their mascara. This is one of the products that I'm most excited about because I love mascara. So this is called their ExtravaLash Explosive Drama Mascara. So this is the packaging here. So you guys know that I love a good mascara because I do not wear falsies. Ooh, this looks promising. So that's what the wand looks like. So let's jump right in. I'm assuming that I'm supposed to use this flat part to apply and then use the ball at the end to kind of separate. So let's give it a whirl. I don't really see instructions on the box anywhere, but I thought the ball at the end was meant to separate the lashes, but I'm not sure about that. It's kind of hard to like not go right in with the ball because it kind of like gets in the way, if that makes sense. So I'm kind of having to use the ball part of it to both apply and separate. But that's what one layer looks like. It actually looks really promising though, in terms of like how it lengthens. Not so much volumizing, but it does add some length and it does add some drama. The one thing I'm not liking with this mascara so far is that this ball part at the end, it feels kind of prickly going onto your lashes. Actually, the whole wand feels a little prickly. All right, that's one layer of the mascara. I'm gonna go in with another layer, and this second layer might give us more volume. Yeah, it's definitely giving us more volume right away with the second layer. Yeah, the second layer looks a lot better. So that's 2 layers versus 1. So you can get some volume out of this. You just have to go in with at least 2 layers. Okay, for the most part, I like how the mascara looks, but it's not my favorite. And unfortunately, the brush head is just not the most comfortable for me. So this isn't something that I would reach for over some of my other favorite mascaras, but it doesn't look bad. It definitely gives some drama to the lashes. I definitely can't use that on my lower lashes because the brush head is just too big. So I'm just going to go in with another mascara on the lower lash, and then we're going to move on to some more products. Okay, the eye makeup is all done, so I will add an inner corner highlight toward the end when I'm finished with the rest of the face. So I'm going to move on to the face. I don't have a foundation from WinkyLux, so I'm going to go in with a little bit of my Danessa Myricks Blurring Balm powder. This is what I have been using lately as a primer. Okay, so I let the primer sit for a couple of minutes, and since we're just like playing around with makeup today, I'm going to revisit this Haus Labs foundation. I did a review on it when it initially came out, and a lot of y'all said that y'all loved the way that it looked on me, and I actually wasn't crazy about it. Like, I thought that it looked okay. I just wasn't crazy about how it wore. I don't think it lasted all that long before it got like really shiny. So today I'm trying it with the Danessa Myricks primer, and I'm also going to use a setting spray on top of it to see if it wears any better. But I just wanted to give this a second try, and I just haven't had an opportunity to since I did that first video. The sticker on here is so tiny, but I think that says the shade 360 medium warm, I believe, but I'll have it listed in the description box. And I do remember the way that they do the shades for this foundation. They do their shades like MAC. So if you have a warm like yellow or golden undertone, you want to do a cool shade in this foundation. And if you have like a pinkish or like a reddish undertone, then you want to do a warm shade. So it's a medium warm shade, but it has a cool undertone to it, if that makes sense. Okay, this is the foundation all blended out. If I recall correctly, this foundation is buildable to full coverage, but I'm going to stop right here. This is like a good medium coverage. The setting powder that I'm going to use a little bit later, that's going to give me a little bit of coverage too. So we're going to move on to concealer. Now, I did a video on the WinkyLux concealer a few months back, and this concealer is so good. People sleep on this concealer. They can use some more shades, but this is a really, really nice concealer. This is in the shade Deep, and I'll give you guys a swatch in case you can use me as a shade reference. That's the shade Deep. This isn't like a super full coverage concealer, but it does give nice coverage and it wears very well. Like absolutely no creasing. It's like one of the best wearing concealers, if not the best that I've ever tried. And I know that that sounds cliche, but it's true. The only thing I don't like about it is the packaging. I really wish it had a doe foot or at least a pump, but preferably a doe foot. So I'm just going to squeeze some of it out on my concealer brush here, and I normally would put color corrector underneath the concealer. I'm not going to do that today just so that y'all can really see the concealer on its own. So I just have a little bit on the brush here, and I'm just going to start applying it on the under eye by patting it in. And I will go in with a couple of layers because like I said, this isn't like the most full coverage concealer, but it gives a good amount of coverage. All right, I'm putting on the second layer, and I'm putting on a little bit more too because I want y'all to see how you can apply like a good amount of this and it'll still blend in nicely and it still won't crease. Well, I'm not doing a wear test today, but I do want y'all to see that you can put on a good amount of this. However, like I said, it's not the most full coverage. So even if you put on a good amount, don't expect like maximum coverage for this. If you don't have as much like under eye darkness as I do, this would be a good concealer to try out. Also, this one isn't the best shade. It has much more of like a neutral undertone, whereas I need something that's cool toned. But if you can find a shade that works for you and you don't have like a ton of under eye darkness, is definitely one that you should try out. So this is what 2 layers looks like. In the second layer I do have like a good amount on, and this is still like really wet. but you can see over here what it looks like when it kind of sets in and like dries down. Okay, this is what 2 layers of the concealer looks like. I'm actually going to let the second layer sit for a little bit before I set it so that it can kind of like set on its own. So while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to set my foundation with some powder. So I don't have a setting powder from WinkyLux either. So I'm going in with that new NARS powder. And like I said earlier, this is going to give me a little more coverage on top of the foundation. So that's why I didn't really want to build that foundation up to full coverage. And I think y'all can tell right away that this powder is also changing the color of my foundation. This powder has like a really pink undertone to it, which is good for me, but I know a lot of y'all don't have a pink tone like I do. And then I'm taking another powder. This is from Kosas. Y'all see me use this in every video, but this is what I'm going to use to set my under eye. And I like to use a very light veil of powder under the eye just because, you know, the less product you put in this area, the less likely you are to get, you know, creasing and caking during the day. Okay, now I'm very curious about this next product. This is the WinkyLux Cheeky Rose Blush. So first off, the packaging is really cute, but I'm curious about this because it just looks like it might not pick up all too well because this is what the blush looks like. And also the color of it is like a really reddish blush. Now the color of it does remind me of my Pat McGrath blush that I actually really like, but I never do like reddish blushes. I always do like more orange or like peach tone blushes. So I'm curious to see how this is going to look on me. Let me see if this comes in other shades though. So it comes in 5 other shades and one of them is like a really nice orangey shade. It's called Brilliant. The shade that they sent me is called Knickers. Let me make sure this is the right one. No, this one is the shade Crown actually. So they have another one on here that's actually more red than this one. But this one is the shade Crown, but they have a really pretty orange shade on here. They have a lot of pretty shades. They also have more of like mauvey like nude shades, but this one is the shade Crown and this is a cream blush. It's a cream blush with a natural finish. I didn't even realize that. Now that I'm looking at the flower, I don't know if you can pick up the texture on camera, but now that I'm looking at it a lot more closely, it actually does look like cream and not powder. But anyway, I'm curious to see how this is going to wear, how it's going to pick up and how it's going to apply. I do feel a little bit better knowing that it's cream because I feel like it might spread better. It does seem to be picking up on the brush okay. So I'm gonna go light with this because of the shade of it. I feel like I need to go a little heavy because it's not really giving me anything. This is the brush that I use for all of my cream blushes. Okay, now we're starting to see it. That's actually pretty. And it does look like my Pat McGrath blush. That one is like a powder blush, but it's the shade, I think it's called Divine Rose. That's actually pretty. I might have to pick up that orange shade. Yeah, that actually looks really nice and subtle. I do feel like you have to kind of really get your brush in there to pick up some products, but it is going on very nicely. Oh wow, I'm surprised. I was concerned about this particular product, but it's working out. I like that. Okay, y'all. I'm excited about this next one. One of my favorite parts of a makeup routine is bronzer. I just feel like bronzer just kind of brings everything to life. And they did send me a bronzer to try out. So this is their Bronze Age Bronzing Stick. It's a dewy bronzing stick. This one is in the shade Sun Goddess. So this is the shade Sun Goddess. So I feel like initially I'm just gonna run this over the face to see how that works, and then maybe on the other side I'll put the brush into the product and apply it that way. But let me just see how it applies. Okay, so right off the bat it's not as creamy as I would like, but that's probably just that initial film on the product. Yeah, because as you keep doing this, it does get a little softer. So let me stop right there and just blend this out. I'm looking at how much time I have because I know this is going to be like one of my longer videos. Okay, what do we think about that? Let me build this up a little bit. I'm going to resort to this because I feel like I'm really like pushing this on my skin. What do we think? That's nice. It does kind of remind me of the the Say Beauty bronzer that I like so much. I just feel like the formula of this is not the most creamy. So again, with this one, just like with the blush, I do feel like I have to kind of work my brush into it to pick up some product, but it looks nice. It's not as warm as Say Beauty either. So it blends out nicely, but because it's not quite as warm, if you're my complexion, you will have to put on a good amount. If you're a little bit lighter than me, this is probably the perfect shade. I'm picking up some more on a smaller brush so I can also get my nose. And then after I apply bronzer to the nose, I always use my residual foundation or concealer, and then I'll pounce back over that. So this particular product, I would use this on my nose. I mean, it looks okay on the forehead, but I do like a little bit more warmth than this on my forehead. I have a big forehead, so that's part of the reason why, but I like a more subtle bronzer on the nose. So I would use this for the nose, but I don't think I would pick this up over some of my other bronzers for the rest of the face. All right, so before we move on to some lip products, I do want to apply some setting spray. This is the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Setting Spray. So I'll update y'all in the comments because I'm not doing a wear test for this video, but I just want to see this Haus Labs foundation. I want to see how long it lasts on me today with the primer underneath and the powder on top. You know what? I feel like, I know that I already sprayed my face, but I feel like I do want to go on top of the blush and the bronzer with a little bit more powder because they're cream, and I'm looking at my face and I'm seeing a lot of dew. So I wish I had thought to do that before I sprayed my face, but no big deal. I'm picking up some of the Kosas powder and I'm just going over the blush and the bronzer. Okay, and to finish everything off for today, they sent me some lip products. So they sent me 2 of their lip balms and then one of their lip duos, a lip liner and a velvet matte lipstick. So let's start off with these 2 lip balms. So this first one is called, I know I'm not saying this right, but Affogato lip balm or Affogato. I'll have it on the screen. So, oh, this is interesting. Oh, wow. So this is what the lip balm looks like. I think this is supposed to be a nude shade. Yeah, this is a sheer nude lip balm. So let's see how this feels on the lips. Ooh. Oh, wow. All right, this smells like a latte or something. It smells really good. Yeah, the name of this shade is Espresso Yourself. It smells very much like coffee. That feels really nice, and it's definitely sheer. It does have like a very slight brown tint to it because of the brown shade over here. So that's really pretty, and it feels really comfortable. So this next one is supposed to be more of like a pigmented balm. This one is the shade Amethyst. Oh, this one has some shimmer in it as well. So I don't know, maybe this is going to be nude also, and maybe just a little shimmer. Let's see. Yeah, definitely nude. It feels just like the other one. They feel really nice going on. In terms of how they feel, I think I like this one better. This one like glided on a little bit better. This one just feels like a little softer, but this one is nice too. And I don't know if you can make it out on camera, but my lips are like really pink naturally, but I can tell that some of the pink was kind of like toned down by the purple in this. So it is nude, but it does have just like some slight color to it. And I wanted to save this one for last because I know this is going to be the most pigmented. So they sent me one of their lip duos. It's a lip liner along with a matte lipstick. So this is just called their waterproof lip liner, and this shade is Dirty Love. Nice red shade. Application wise, this is really nice because it's really precise and it's creamy, so it goes on very easily. I'm not crazy about the shade of it because it looks like an orangey red, which I just don't like those types of reds on me, but it applied very nicely. And then this is their Lip Velour matte lipstick, also in the shade Dirty Love. Yeah, this lipstick also has like an orangey, almost like a rusty shade to it. So I know I'm not gonna care for this on my lips. So far it feels like a typical matte lipstick. It doesn't feel like tight on my lips. It feels comfortable so far. I wouldn't wear this shade, but it feels pretty comfortable. So let me take my hair down and then I will wrap everything up and then I'll tell y'all what my favorite and my least favorite products were. Okay, so I feel like my lipstick, my lip color does not go with the eye makeup for today, but I left it on just so that y'all can see it. I was thinking about going on top of the lipstick with this lip balm. I'm really tempted to do that. Let's just do it. We're just here trying stuff out for today. So I'm gonna go on top of it with the brownish lip balm. This feels really nice. All right, I'm just trying to clean up around the edges a little bit because I put that lip balm on like kind of sloppy, so it did get kind of messed up, but I was hoping that the brown would kind of like tone down the orange a little bit. It did a little bit, but I'm just not crazy about this lip color on me and I feel like it clashes with my eye look, but I do want y'all to see, you know, the product on my face. So my favorite product today was actually this blush, very surprisingly, because I was very concerned about how this was going to apply. I did think it was a powder blush at first, but I really like this. I'm probably gonna pick up this blush in that orange shade. Like I said, for those of you who use brow pencils, where's the brow pencil at? For those of you who use brow pencils, I think that you would like this. I do really like that brush, but you know, brow pencils just isn't my thing, but this is a really nice pencil. And of course, I have to remind y'all again, if y'all have not tried this concealer, you have to try it out. It's one of the best concealers out there. Unfortunately, my least favorite product for today, I'm gonna have to say the mascara. To me, it's just a little bit more difficult to apply, and the mascara wand is like not the most comfortable, and everything else was okay. You know, there are some products here that I would probably play around with again, but hands down, this blush, definitely my favorite. So thank you so much to WinkyLux for sending me all of these products to try out for you all. I hope that you found the video helpful. If you did, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel before you head out, and I will see y'all back here for my next one. Until then, take care. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.